Hey guys, sebchoof here. Born Again is damn back. This is a game that's super similar to Realm of the Mad God, so it's a permadeath, kinda bullet hell, top-down MMORPG, but it's melee, basically. I had a blast playing this in its closed beta around 2 years ago, and it was, and still is, a huge breath of fresh air compared to what I'm usually used to. But after the beta, when this game had its actual release, it switched up pretty hard. Instead of its awesome open world, they suddenly changed the map, so you get one of 3 small islands, where their designs felt random and more mushed up and less special. You could easily walk across one of the maps in 2 minutes, that's how small they were. Maybe even 1. I also remember it becoming way too easy. It was basically impossible to die. But now, we're back, baby. Born Again had its 2.0 update, where they changed it back to a cool open world, and it's damn tough. I've been getting killed way too much. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Oh no, that was so bad. I jumped on him. Fuck. There's so much more added since I did play it last, but yeah, I've been playing this game a bunch on stream. I've almost got a max skill tree Doomfred on every class. You'll know exactly what that means soon. Let's get into it. Now, as you can see, this game is a bit different to Realm of the Mad God, or your usual top-down bullet hell game. Instead of shooting bullets, you instead almost always hit enemies with a melee weapon. And there's 8 different weapons, 1 different type per class. Sure, it probably doesn't surprise you that there's a sword in this game, but imagine squashing these Goombas with a hammer or wailing on them with your fists. There's even a bow class. Not only do you have a regular basic attack with your weapon, but it's also got its own ability with a cooldown. Like for example, the sword class has a sweep with a jump, the Bastion with a hammer has a slam with a jump, and the Shaolin with the fists does a big jump into battle where he promptly dies. So sad. Just like Realm, every class has its own standard ability too, depending on the class, and these can get pretty crazy. Then on top of these 2 abilities, you also get a third one, which is more based on movement. It's always either a jump or a dash. And you might just think a jump or a dash is whatever, it just makes you move quickly, but in Born Again it's a big deal because it gives you invulnerability frames, meaning if you use it well enough, you can actually barely move, but you can stay balls deep in the battle, dodging all enemy attacks. Not with movement, but with invincibility. The invulnerability providing jumps aren't also just on your third ability either. You usually have an inbuilt jump or dash on your main ability too, and these can sometimes be part of your second ability, like the fireworks item. The jumping and dashing in this game is so much fun, and it really tests your skill. This game does have auto aim and auto fire, which I really like. I don't usually like it in games like this, like I wouldn't like it in Realm, because there your accuracy matters, but in this game it's just tedious to hit with your melee ability, especially when you have to jump and use your abilities at the same time, so you can focus on jumping and using your abilities properly. You can also override your auto aim so that you're always hitting the enemies that you want, rather than the game choosing ones you probably wouldn't want to. Another reason why they need auto aim and auto fire is because you can actually play this game cross-playable on mobile, so many of the people playing alongside you are probably epic gaming on their phone, but unfortunately I don't have a phone. While we're talking about items, there's a surprising amount of variety you can go for. Just like in Realm, you have your similar to tiered progression, which is just standard items, and then they like +1 in damage each time they go up a tier, but you can get funkier, cooler stuff like rares, or the super rare and sexy mythics. Is Gonte decent? Oh, I finally got I didn't even know what it looks like, an ounce. What did I get? Amulet of the Fallen Queen. Oh, crit chance! Basically the white bug equivalent. Items in this game can be so crazy. You can get a dragon head ability, elephant tusk hammer, whatever the hell this skull is, and much more. Even the third ability, which is always just boots or shoes, can vary greatly. Like for your boots, you can get ones that land and do damage, land and give you a speed buff or a healing buff, and ones with further jump distances, and much more. Any special item you get, you can almost always link it back to the boss it came from just from its appearance. And not only that, but the items that you have equipped, you can easily see on your character. I love when games do this so much. So you can tell what items everyone is wearing without having to hover over their name. It also makes it feel much more rewarding for getting the rare stuff, since people always see you wearing it when you're using it. They also added dungeons in the game for free bosses, and they're the new hardest enemies in the game. They dropped their own line of loot, which is the rarest in the game as well. I'm yet to get any of the special items from these guys, and I've been playing on stream for quite a while. You can even get sick cosmetics from enemies, including pets and hats, which is super rare and special, especially the pets. I got this bird from an event, this salamander from these enemies, and this black slime from the first boss. Pets are damn rare. I've only gotten a handful, and sorry, they don't heal you for 90 health per second, no matter how much you're willing to pay. Getting loot is a lot of fun because locking in and doing more damage helps your loot chances. As you attack bosses in this game, you get a percent number that increases with damage, and once you hit 100%, you're guaranteed to get a drop, at least a gem, which is like the stat pot equivalent in this this game. And then you continue to gain percent until you get an extra 35% extra loot boost at 135%. So you're rewarded for doing more damage. Enemies in this game are damn awesome as well. They're all thematic to their area, and most of them are a great unique fight. When I played in the beta, boss battles were pretty shallow, but with the 2.0 update and the other updates since I played last time, a lot of these bosses got reworked. My favorite is this boss because she kind of traps you in this arena and she's thick. I mean, during the fight, she jumps from the sidelines onto you, but you can and absolutely should be doing the same. The awesome thing about this arena is you can actually walk into the sides to gain a free jump since your character jumps off the sides as well. Without them, this boss can make you lose in more ways than one. It's pretty hard. And there are so many challenging enemies in this game, especially depending on your class. If you're tanky, you can get away with a lot more, but if you're squishy, have damn fun. I was playing with someone that's a god gamer. Buff him! No! A veteran of this game. Wait, Delanford died as well. Fuck. And me, the best player to touch any game. I'm dead. It's quite simple. It's quite simple, I'm dead. Okay, jump off cooldown, jump off cooldown, jump off cooldown. Oh! Slotting. No, I'm dead, I'm literally dead. How the fuck? I got my jump off cooldown, I'm dead. Oh my, he's on 1 HP! And we got steamrolled. The fights are so fun, especially when you're trapped in the fight with the boss. The bosses that I don't like and could use a big improvement are the ones where you can just walk outside the boss arena. It's lame for two big reasons. One, there's not as much urgency if you can just walk out, have a fap until you're full HP, and then go back until your health is low again, then fap again, and rinse and repeat. And number two, usually when people leave the arena, the boss follows them, then there's this annoying as fucking vulnerability reset where they walk into the middle of the arena and it just takes a while. It would be so much more intense and fun and not feel so slow if all boss fights had their arenas close when the fight starts. Like for example, the doors could close in buildings, the liquids could rise, the drawbridges could close, and you could put launchers outside where people can jump in without using an ability if they came late or Nexus and return. Now, this game isn't hard in a cheap way like another game I can think of. What I mean is you're not dying to insta-kills. This game is more about dodging more shots and regenerating back your health rather than avoiding things that will blow you up in 1 second. You can still die quickly if enemies give you a lap dance, but this game actually has an instant kill protection. If you take lethal damage instantly while having over 50% of your HP, you literally cannot die. Like in this clip, you can die to a separate shot a split second later, so watch out for that, but not instantly. You can't overly rely on Nexus either. It would be pretty OP paired with the instant kill protection. The reason is there's a small animation for the Nexus to go off, which I really like because Nexusing is pretty OP and it helps preventing against unfair advantages like cheating. Also, if you do die, which you never would because you're a sebchoof viewer, you can actually watch back your death in-game, and not only that, but you can slow it down and save it as an image or GIF so you can laugh at it with your friends. But yeah, all the enemies fit their areas so well, and man do I love the different areas in this game. When they made the realms into separate tiny islands, I didn't like it that much because it just felt so mashed together. But now every biome feels like its own area and has 3 of its own separate bosses at least. This one's my favorite, the Crash Bandicoot biome, where you can fight the Totem Boss, Gorilla Man, don't know whatever this guy's name is, and the Stonehead guy. Fuck this guy. It's even got monkeys. I just love how colorful it is and how much it reminds me of Crash Bandicoot. Other places I love is Al-Kharid, Snowden, this Sky Island biome. Honestly, there's no area I actually dislike. The only problem I can actually think of about the world is that it's a bit too big, and the only way you can get around really quickly is by using stagecoaches in the game, which you can unlock by finding them. It's pretty fun that you have to discover the entire map for the first time before everything's unveiled. But yeah, even walking to these stagecoaches can take a while sometimes. But I also do love the fact that you can't teleport because they'll destroy my immersion, and it makes sure that noobs don't go to end game areas right away. But yeah, getting from place to place still doesn't take too long. It just could be a lot quicker quicker, which is why I'm amazed that this game doesn't have mounts yet. Imagine, you could either find them in-game as rare drops, or it could be an opportunity for monetization. You could get a tiger mount that's fast, a slime mount that has extra jumps, or a dragon mount that constantly flies. How sick would that be? And they would just be for getting to place and flexing on your friends. It's also an opportunity to be able to customize your character more. Come on, Deca Games, get on it. I really love the art for this game, and this is one of the rare games where I don't mute the music, despite it not having that many different tracks. I just can't get sick of it. Let's talk about the classes. So we got the warrior class, who's a sword class. He's pretty standard. If you know Born Again, you know this guy. Then we got the samurai, who wields a katana, which is what the kensei should be like in Realm of the Mad God, because it doesn't have that charges bullshit, and it's a glass cannon instead of tanky, like it is in Realm for some reason. I've died in this class in Born Again more than I'd like to admit. Next up, we have the monk. Honestly, not too interesting, just a tanky dude with a pole, but I did surprisingly enjoy playing him. Then the assassin with its daggers is kind of like the rogue from Realm. You jump and go invisible and then get an attack speed boost. Pretty fun, especially in this game where everything is constantly beating your ass, so it's nice to be invisible. And then, oh my god, it's time for one of my favorite classes, the Bastion. This guy is so satisfying because you're just flopping your big thick hammer around and slamming it on enemies. And he's so tanky, you can get away with so much, more than other classes. He still does a surprising amount of damage too, for how much he can get spanked. I love this guy. Then another one of my favorite classes, the Shaolin with his fists. This is the fastest and most mobile class in the game, and the punching is so much fun. But he's probably the toughest to play because he's so squishy and short range. Then we have the Shinobi with his kunais. And no, they're not daggers, can't you tell the difference? Sorry, I'm just redirecting the abuse I received back to you guys, that I received for constantly getting them mixed up on stream. This class instead jumps and gives yourself an attack speed buff, and he also heals a lot. So you'd expect him to be bad DPS wise, but he's not. I found him to be potentially the best. Can we just admit this class is stupidly broken? I barely do anything and get soulbound with this guy, but he is very squishy. No, I'm so squishy! And lastly, we have the bow class, the Nomad. I thought this class would be garbage. Usually when a class has a lot of range relative to others, you gotta draw it back somehow, usually in the damage department to compensate. But it's actually not that bad on paper, and in practice, it's great since you can always be hitting enemies. I really enjoyed it. Each class also has its own different skill tree. This is where you use the gems that you find from bosses in the game, and this is kind of like the stat pot equivalent from Realm. Not only is this one of the ways you can gain stats, because the skill tree either asks you to put in a specific gem into a slot, or it gives you a choice so you can decide whether you want to naturally heal more from vitality, or be mobile from speed, or tankier from health or defense, or deal more damage from attack or dexterity. But later on down the paths, you get to choose whether you want to go, not only based on the stats it forces you to slot in, but also at the end of your tree, you also get unique buffs to your character. Like for example, on Shinobi, the OP class, there's a bunch of true damage or critical chance increases, and also a weapon and boot ability cooldown decreaser. I could have also went healing on kill, or status effect reduction, but I'm not a chicken. Also on Bastion, the hammer class, one of the reasons why it's so OP defensively is there's so many splits that lead to block chance increases. And then there's another one that I had to get, which is on a weapon ability, you get an attack speed buff. The skill tree gives you a lot of choice on how you're going to play your character. On top of your class and skill trees and items, there's another way that you can build your character. When you kill enemies, you get this material called spirits. You get them super quickly, and once you get at least 10, you can get yourself a blessing, which is like an item or an artifact from a roguelike game like Binding of Isaac, where it provides you a passive buff. Once you get 10 blessings, you want to go to one of these shrine things in the world and interact with it. Then you get to choose one of 3 random blessings, and you can hold up to 8 of these. Here's some that I have on my hammer class. I got one called Blessing of the Tiger that gives me an extra weapon charge, so it means I can stack up to 2 instead of 1, but it does cool down slower. I got one called Blessing of the Lion, where once I'm below 50% HP, I get a buff that makes me faster, and a buff that makes me deal more damage for 5 seconds. And then there's one called Blessing of the Elephant, where when you consume food, which is the health pots of this game, I get a speed boost and a healing buff for about 5 seconds. The most overpowered blessing for this class probably is the damn Blessing of the Yak, where it gives you 5% more block chance, but also when you do block, you get a 50 damage shield for a 5-second cooldown. This is so amazing on this class in particular because you block all the time. I said I'm not a chicken, and I'll usually go the DPS route, out, but come on. This is too cracked to ignore. Okay, guys, quick question. How the hell does this game have this before Realm of the Mad God? It's got a damn PvE mode, like Iron Man mode from RuneScape. It's called the Doom Thread in this game, and just like you would know from Realm of the Mad God or RuneScape, you can't trade other players or you can't take from the vault. There's actually 3 different modes you can choose from when you create a new character. They have a softcore mode called the Thread of Discovery, so you actually aren't affected by permadeath, but, and it's a big but, you're capped at level 16 instead of level 20, you can't get over 1,000 of the Fame equivalent, and you can't get the White Bag equivalent items, so it's pretty fair. There's also the Thread of Fate, where you are affected by permadeath, but you don't have any of the downsides of the softcore mode. And then there's the Thread of Doom, the PvE mode, where surprisingly there's no actual benefit on top of the regular permadeath mode, but you do see in-game which mode people choose, so you can flex on your plebeians. And there is also a separate leaderboard for each mode. You can technically use the non-permadeath mode until level 16, and then change your character to a permadeath mode, because you won't feel the level cap or the fame cap, and it gives you good security in case you die while leveling. Also, you don't really encounter bosses that can drop those rare mythic items, so for almost no downside while leveling, you can just go the non-permadeath mode, and then when you hit 16, you can transfer, using the NPC at the north of Nexus. I don't think this is much of a big deal that this exists, because all the chads would choose the PvE mode anyway, and you can't swap to that mid-run. You can, however, swap from the PvE mode to the normal permadeath mode if you want to get back to begging other players. By the way, playing this game straight after Realm feels so amazing. There's no server lag or frames lag, there's very minimal bugs from what I've seen, instead of encountering one unique one per minute, and loading screens don't make me feel like I'm aging. Oh, and yeah guys, this is the main reason why I'm making this video. I've got a creator code, baby. I'm just kidding. I'm making this video because I think this game is awesome and you should really check it out, and I wanted to get more popularity and for it to develop more. But isn't it insane that this game has creator codes before Realm? But yeah, if you use the code CHOOF at checkout, I get 5%. Yippee! I've made $6.24 so far, and I'm already deciding on which color I want my Lamborghini. Now, but seriously, if I wanted your support, I'd be more so asking you to join the amazing gang of subscribers on Twitch, Patreon, or YouTube memberships, because the percentages there are much better, and these are the guys that truly keep me alive. But getting a creator code system for your game is such a no-brainer. It incentivizes people making content for the game way more, especially for smaller games, because making money off of Realm videos or Born Again videos is basically impossible, and you have to sacrifice a lot of time to do it, so you have to really enjoy it. I do also want to see people supporting the game, even if they don't use my code, because this game has so much potential and I want it to be realized. While we're talking about setting out, let's talk about the monetization of this game. Born Again is super free-to-play friendly. Initially, you just have one class to choose from, the warrior, and one character slot and a few vault slots, but you can easily get more, both through the currency you gain from death and through paying to win. It just gets more expensive each time you get it with the free-to-play currency. You can also get backpacks with real money, which you can also get lesser versions of with the free in-game currency too. Another thing you can use in-game paid credits for is permanently storing hats and pets you find in the game, so it kind of like saves it for future characters. And that's about it. No divine pets unfortunately, but I can get by. Apparently this game did have keys at one stage, which people raged at because they were limited time dungeons, but I just can't imagine people doing that. Maybe it's because I'm desensitized from the monetization from Realm. They have a bit there. If I was a devs from Born Again, I'd make it that you could buy any hats or pets with gold from the get-go, because I'd really like to be able to store the hats or pets with the in-game currency, because I want anything like a collection log, man. Also mounts. Man, I could imagine people paying a good amount of money for some sick-looking mounts. Main problem with Born Again is the lack of content. I think there is a good amount there, and getting every item in the game will take you a long time. Even one of the rare items from one of those bosses in those free dungeons I mentioned earlier, good damn luck. So that's why it would be amazing if the devs added a collection log. It will really get people to play the game so much more, trust me. I don't know, I just personally find collection logs so satisfying, and it would take so long to find each one. When it comes to bosses, there's like 30 if I had to guess, and they don't get anywhere near as deep as some bosses do in Realm, so you could get sick of them if you don't care as much for the grind and bettering your character. There's also that issue about being a chicken around the boss arenas they gotta fix to make the bosses even more enjoyable, but other than that, it's a really solid game. It just needs more, so I'm hoping that you guys will give this game a good try, because I'm worried the developers may already be losing interest in this game, even though they only just released the 2.0 update, since they're already working on another game. But there are still updates for Born Again coming. There's about to be more dungeons in the game, and they did say they'd add skilling to the game, which I would love. They added it to the other game they're working on for some reason. Please add it to Born Again, that would be so hype. Either to get higher quality consumables from fishing, or gear from mining. It would be a good way to add a function to the cool looking villages in the game, which at the moment don't really do anything, other than sometimes having the stagecoaches within them. Also, adding mounts is a no-brainer in my opinion. But yeah, give this game some some love, support the devs by getting some in-game credit, and use code CHOOF if you want, and I'll be streaming this game way more, especially if it gets more updates. I'd even be down to make a new player guide or a class guide. What do you guys think? Comment down below if you'd like that, or what class you'd like me to make a guide for. And I'll leave a link down below to their Discord, so make sure to join and let them know that I sent you. Also, I'll leave a link to their Steam page as well, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.